part 1, human excretory system. So today we are learning about human excretory system. So in general, factories. So what happen in that factories? Some products can be produced. So after products can be produced, some of the waste material can be formation. So these waste material can be elimination in the form of chemicals and gases. So in this way, in our body, like compared to the factory, so in our body, some of the metabolic activities and biological reactions and catabolic activities can be done. So in this way, in our body, some of the waste materials can be produced. So that is in the form of nitrogenous wastages. So these nitrogenous wastages eliminated from our body into outside, that is called as excretory system. So this excretory system in that form of evolutionary changes. So first of all, we are saying that the modes of excretion. So what is that modes of? Depending on the water, modes of excretion. So in this way, three types of modes can be done. One is the ammonotelic organism, and the second one is the ureotelism, and third one is the uricotelism. So what is the ammonotelism and ureotelism, uricotelism? This is the 4 marks important expected question. So what is that ammonotelism? Which organisms the ammonia can be formation? So in this excretory products or nitrogenous wastages can be eliminated in the form of ammonia. These organisms called as ammonotelism. So this ammonia can be released directly into water. So this is the highly toxic substances. This is harmful to in bodies. So that's why these entering into water stream and easily, quickly soluble in water. So example for the ammonotelism, maximum can be aquatic organisms and teleost fishes directly release the ammonia into water. And the next one is the ureotelism, which are the organisms can be excretion their nitrogenous wastage in the form of urea. So these organisms can be called as ureotelism. So this is the less toxic substances compared to the ammonotelism. So approximately lower than the 1 lakh times of the ammonia. So this is also soluble in water compared to the lower toxic compared to the ammonotelic organisms. So these ureotelic organisms, example for the ureotelic organisms is the amphibians and earthworms and mammals. Next one, uricotelism. Which organisms can be eliminated their excretory products or nitrogenous wastage in the form of uric acid. So this is the water protection method. So in the adaptations, water protection method is the uricotelism. So some of the uricotelic organism, example for the uricotelic organism is the insects and reptilians and birds. So this is the 4 marks important question. So ammonotelic organisms, ammonia is soluble in water and quickly, and urea is also soluble in water, but uric acid not soluble in water. So compared to the ammonotelic organism, this is the lower toxic substances, and compared to the uric acid, so this is the lower than the ureotelic organisms. And the next one, we are saying that lower level organisms, the excretion process can be done in lower organisms. In higher animals, separately organs can be formation, but in lower organisms like invertebrates. So what is the invertebrates? These invertebrates not having a spinal cord or notochord, these non-cardiacs can be divided consist in the protozoa and contractile vacuoles is present. So these plasmalemma and contractile vacuole excretion can be done in the protozoa. And the second one is the porifera. Simple diffusion can be done in the porifera. And also this is the seen in Coelenterata. Also simple diffusion method can be done. And the fourth one is the Platyhelminthes. So in this Platyhelminthes, special cells is present. These cells is called as flame cell. So why these called as flame cell? This cell is structured like a flame. So that's why called as flame cell. So this is the most important for the insect and need bit. And the next one is the nematodes. So in nematodes, some of the rennet cells and hexatype cells is present. And the next one is the Annelida. In annelids, botryoidal cells and chlorogogen cells and nephrons can be done. So this is the special cells can be done in the excretory products in the Annelida. And the next one is the Arthropoda. So this Arthropoda is the largest phylum in invertebrates and non-chordates. So in this majorly crustacea. So in crustacea, green glands and antennal is present. So these are the excretory organs. And the next one is the Arachnida. Arachnida. In Arachnida, green glands and coxal glands can be present for excretory system. And the next one is the insects. So in insects, Malpighian tubules. So this is the important Malpighian tubules. Excretory products can be done in the insects. And the next one is the mollusca. So in mollusca, nephrons can be done, and also these nephrons can be excretory system process can be done in molluscans. And the final one is the last one is the echinodermata. So in echinoderms, tube feet is present. This is the excretory organ. So now we are seeing in that highly developed organisms like chordates and mammates. So these chordates and mammates excretory products excretion can be done with the help of metanephridia. This is also called kidneys. So in humans, one pair of kidneys can be present. So human excretory system can be divided into three parts. So one is the kidneys, one pair of kidney present, and the second one is the ureterus, one pair of ureterus present, and the third one is the one urinary cord. First of all, we are seeing that kidney. So where is kidney is present? Kidney is the dark reddish brown color, and that is the bean shaped like structure. So these kidneys can be present either side of the vertebral column, last thoracic and third lumbar vertebra. So these kidneys can be located in the either side of the vertebral column, and the right side kidney is the slightly lower than the left kidney. Why? Because in the right side the major gland, liver gland is present. So that's why the right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney. So this is the most important for the insect or need bits. So two kidneys cannot be equal stage. So right kidney is lower and left kidney is the upper stage. And next one is the kidney is the bean shaped like structure, and these can be outer shade can be protected by the renal capsule covered with the each and every kidney. Renal capsule is covered, and these kidney measurements is the 10 to 15 or 13 centimeters of length and 5 centimeters of width, and 120 to 170 grams of kidney weight. So next one, in this kidney specifically two regions can be seen. One is the cortex and the second one is the medulla region. So outer side is the region is called as cortex, and inner side of the kidney is called as medulla. So in medulla specifically cone shaped like structure. So a triangle structure is pyramids is present. These pyramids is called as renal or medullary pyramids. So approximately human being having 9 to 12 pyramids, renal pyramids. So each and every renal pyramid can be projections can be separated with the help of columns of Bettins. So these columns of Bettins separated the each and every renal pyramids, and each renal pyramids, the end of the renal pyramids having that one like cup-like structure is present. This cup-like structure is called as calyx, and these calyx entering into pelvis. Pelvis is the open cavity in the hilum region of the kidney, and next in the kidney renal arteries can be entered, and some of the nerves can be entered, and some of the ureterus and nerves and renal veins can be out of the kidney. So next one, top of the kidney one cap-like structure is present. So this is called as adrenal gland, right? And the next one we are studying about the second one pair of ureterus. So ureterus is the come outside through the kidneys, and this is the white shaped structure, and these are the lined by the interstitial epithelial cells is lined in the ureterus, and these entering into urinary bladder. Next, third one is the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is the located in the lower of the abdomen cavity, and this is the center location sac for the storage of the urine. So in this urinary bladder the walls is very thick, and the interstitial epithelial cells can be present, and the neck opening in the urethra. So in the opening of the neck of the urinary bladder, two muscles, smooth muscles and striated muscles, both muscles can be present in the neck of the urinary bladder, and these urinary bladder come outside with the urethra. These urethra can be open in the vagina in females and the penis in the males. So this is the structure of kidney. So in IPE March examination purpose, one essay question is expected, that is the what is the structure of kidney and define the structure of nephron. So now we are studying about the structure of nephron. So each and every kidney carrying that 1 million of nephron. So in the renal pyramids having millions of nephrons. So one of the nephrons can be elongated. This is the structure of the nephron structure. So now we are studying about that the nephron structure. So mainly nephron can be divided into two parts. One is the Malpighian tubule, Malpighian body. So this is the first part, and second one is the renal tubule. So this is the second part. One is the Malpighian body, and second one is the renal tubule. So Malpighian body again divided into two parts, glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. So these glomerulus entering, this is the one of the bunch-like structure. So these can be arteriole, efferent arteriole entering into glomerulus. So this is the large arteriole, efferent arteriole, and entering into glomerulus. These glomerulus can be, some of the holes can be present, that is called as gill slits, and out of the glomerulus is called as efferent arteriole. So this is the thin efferent tubule. So compared to the afferent and efferent tubules, efferent arteriole is the larger and the efferent arteriole is the thin-like structure. The blood come outside through the efferent arteriole. And next one, the Bowman's capsule is closely associated with the glomerulus. This Bowman's capsule, two-layer structure. So this is the formation of the two layers and consists of the podocytes. So these podocytes and closely associated with the glomerulus. So whenever the glids open, gill slits can be open. So higher more hydrostatic pressure can be occurred in the glomerulus and wastages collecting in the Bowman's capsule. So this is the first part of the nephron. This is the Malpighian tubule dividing into two parts, glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. Next, we are seeing about the renal tubule. So in the renal tubule, first of all, first one is the proximal convoluted tubule, one PCT. Next one is the Henle's loop, and third one is the distal convoluted tubule, DCT, and fourth one is the collecting duct. Right? So in the renal tubule, one is the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, proximal. This is the nearest to the Bowman's capsule. That's why called as proximal convoluted tubule. And this proximal convoluted tubule entering into one hair-like pin-like structure. So that is called as Henle's loop. In this Henle's loop, two parts can be divided. So downstream is called as descending limb of Henle's loop, and upstream is called as ascending limb of Henle's loop. And descending loop and ascending loop. Ascending loop primary is the tubule is the very thin, and the terminal part end of the ascending limb is the very thick in structure. So these ascending limb can be associated with the next part is the DCT, distal convoluted tubule. So this is the far away from the Bowman's capsule. That's why called as distal convoluted tubule. So this distal convoluted tubule connecting into collecting duct. So this is the waste products can be releasing into collecting tubule. Each and every collecting tubule can be joined and together formation of the one Berlin duct. So in this Berlin duct can be opening into a large cavity of the medulla. This is called as pelvis. So in this pelvis urine can be formation, and these urine can be out through the ureterus. So these ureterus and next entering into urinary bladder, and the urine can be come outside. So that's why the complete functioning can be done with the help of only nephron. So that's why the nephron is called a structurally functionally unit of the kidney. So kidney is the only being like structure only. So in this kidney, what is present? Nephrons is present. How much nephrons is present? 1 million of the nephrons can be present. So these 1 million nephrons is the can done structurally and functionally. So this is the mainly formation of the urine formation. So that's why is the nephrons is called as structurally and functionally unit of the kidney. So right. So this is the structure of the excretory system. So till today we are learning which type of questions we are learning. So one is the modes of the excretory system. What is the modes of excretory system? One is the ammonotelism, and the second one is the ureotelism, and the third one is the uricotelism. So ammonia releasing in the form of ammonia, that is called as ammonotelism, urea, and the third one is the uric acid. And the next one is this is the 4 marks important question. And in invertebrates, so types of the excretory can be done in invertebrates from protozoa to up to echinodermata. So in this bits MCET or NEET bits important. And next we are studying about the human excretory system, structure of kidney and structure of nephron. So next part we are learning about the how to urine formation. So how to urine formation we are continuation in the next part. Okay, thank you.